All right, guys, so let's go ahead and wrap this up with just a few more pieces of information. So a couple of other items that are required in this exercise is the use of images and then links, okay? And I just want to make sure I give you some introduction to that so it will help you figure out all of the other details that you need using the resources that I have given you, okay? So first off, let's just introduce an image. Now this is going to be something kind of specific here because we are using a website to help us preview what code will do. It's not actually a live environment, okay? So I'm not working someplace where I can put an image on my hard drive or my server and reference it as the location where it's sourced, okay? To get through this exercise, just to give you some experience, you'll be using an image tag, okay, with an attribute of source, an alt tag, width, and height information, okay? So the first thing that's most important, obviously, is your image tag, and then the source. Where are we getting this from, okay? And so just to get through this, I just want you to go out on the internet and hopefully you can find a picture of yourself someplace. If not, just find a picture, okay? So for this, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually on the VCU website, okay? And I just clicked through one of the articles and I clicked through because I actually know this gentleman. This is Adam Gaynor, and he is working on 3D printing PPEs for healthcare workers, okay? So this is a picture of him, and I can't actually access the link directly to this image from here. If I were to use this link in my code, it would not work, okay? I would get an error. But you can right-click on images and look for Open Image in New Tab. I've already clicked that, and you'll see what that looks like. Okay, it's in its own tab, and this link is very, very specific to this picture. Okay, it's an absolute link to this. So that's the one I'm going to use. And I'll come back to my code, and I'm going to plot that between my two quotation marks. Okay, and once that's there, you're going to see that the picture pops up, and it's coming in at full size. And I've already looked up the size of this image in Photoshop, and it's really large. It's 1200 by about 800. So I'm actually going to shrink that when I get to width and height, okay? The next piece here is an alt tag, and this is really important because if there was a reader coming through for someone who is visually impaired, it would read this information. So you want to be short but descriptive, and so I usually like to think of like 3 or 4 words that will work, and so in this case I'll just put Adam Gaynor since I just know him. Adam Gaynor in PPE, okay? Next, you have width and height. And I've already figured out when I constrain the proportions down to something, what I need to plug in here. So I'm gonna use 500 by 333, okay? So I had opened this image in Photoshop. I know it was about 1200. I plugged in 500 for width and it automatically constrained the height for me. So you'll see my image still looks really clean and crisp and clear. So if you are struggling to get your image onto your resume, this is precisely what you would be using, okay? Again, your image tag, the source link, the alt tag, width and height. Okay, so please make sure you have that information in there. All right, so that satisfies the requirement that you get a photo in there, okay? The next thing that I think I need to go over just to kind of help you figure this out is how to link things. And your link tags, okay, is an A tag, and that's actually one of the first ones I went over in that PowerPoint. During the section where I was like, oh, they're super intuitive. Paragraph is a P, a link is an A. That's not super intuitive, but you'll get the hang of it, okay? And you'll see here, so an A tag, all right, for my link. And then this is where I'm going to point it to, okay? So this is my opening tag altogether, okay? And then my closing tag here. And so it's applying this link to the content within those tags, which is Let's Go VCU. So Let's Go VCU, you see it here, the whole thing is linked. And if I hover over it, you see that it's going to vcu.edu, okay? Now the thing I want to point out here is when you put in a link, you need to include https://, okay? It will not work if you don't include that information. So please don't try to just put www.vcu or just vcu.edu. Make sure you include the HTTPS information, okay? So you'll see here, I applied it to a full sentence. All right, but remember, tags can be nested within other tags. So you'll see an example here where I have a paragraph tag where I've started Let's Go to, and then I've put the link tag and the location that I'm trying to point them to. Okay, so I've got that. VCU is what is going to be linked. Okay, I know that because I've got my opening tag here and I have my closing tag around VCU. And then because I have an opening paragraph tag, I have to have a closing paragraph tag. Okay, so you can see the difference here, okay, between the entire sentence being linked and just a word within the sentence being linked. Okay. I also could link this photo, and I'll go ahead and do that because that's actually one of the requirements of the exercise too. And to do that, I can do that really, really simply here. I'm going to use the same concept, okay? I'm going to take this entire opening tag. Okay, again, A is the link tag, okay? And then I'm referencing where I'm going to point them to, and then I'm going to close my link tag, and you'll see here now if I hover over my picture, again down here in the corner, you can see that it's pointing to VCU. Okay. I think the only other piece of information that I did not cover is the concept of a mail to link, and that's something that you'll apply to your email address. You'll see that you do have that somewhere in here, if memory serves. Yes. Okay, so just like when I linked text, you saw all of the information here, the link tag, the hyperlink, with a very specific absolute URL. Here you'll see it set up very similarly, except instead of directing to a URL, you're going to see that it's going to an email address, and you would type in your email address here, and it would then link. Okay, and it would hyperlink it as an email address. I believe I've given you just about everything I can possibly think of to get through this exercise. Again, please don't spend hours and hours and hours on this. This is supposed to be exploratory and just play with it, have a little bit of fun. If you used color, if you used background color, if you had shapes, do your best to try to figure out how to implement that, okay? Again, the W3 Schools is really helpful, but this one is actually probably going to be a little bit more helpful in terms of kind of helping you figure out where that information lies within the CSS, okay? And with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Again, I'll be back Thursday to talk about Dreamweaver.